All right, so let's... Shukan, thank you for your generosity in giving those dice to Custos Lupus. And of course, all of these are spoken for by Shukan, and we'll pop these open after the workshop. Pretty much, that's how it worked on Critical Role tonight. True poor chaos, or pure chaos in the end. Oh, so everyone's running around on fire then, huh? I'm glad it sounds like it was entertaining and a good time, because that's the point, right? Even if it's bad, if you're laughing, you're winning D&D. Which, by the way, we lost another character in Tomb of Annihilation tonight at the store. It... Anyway. You can read about that on our Discord. I'll put the journal up soon when I can. All right. Horses and indoor teleportation circles don't mix. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. All right. Let's choose 2 NPCs that you would like to flesh out from the band. Remember, Pete and Jeremy from D&D Time cracked open some minis, came up with the concept for a band called the Inner Demons, and we already fleshed out their 2 Maragon bouncers. Pardon me. Again, who knew soda made you burp? That's dumb. Who invented that? Anyway. We have a... There we go. I'm going to move this off to the side. So they have a drummer that is a Glabrezu. We have an Arenyes that is their lead singer. They have a barbed devil. They have both this barbed devil and this barbed devil. One plays guitar, one plays bass. They have a chain devil. And this is just, it's like they're like heavy duty fan that's in the mosh pit that you would encounter as a part of the adventure that we're creating. So not really an enemy, but maybe kind of a hazard. We also have a Maw Demon, which is a speaker that they set up on stage, and so it's sort of like their super bass speaker. And it'll just go up there and beatbox and... there is a spine devil that is working as staff, kind of like behind the stage security. So it stands in the hallway at the venue with the trident in hand, and it spreads its wings out, and it's checking passes to make sure that people can be back there. Then we have their band manager. Their band manager is Olanthius. Olanthius is their manager. Their roadie, like their old kind of grizzled roadie, is an Armanite. You know, he can scout out locations. He's traveled all over, knows the cities, knows all. You know, oh, if you go to that local diner, yeah, you want to get the number 13. But ask him to hold the salt. There's enough in it already. They don't need to add extra. And then lastly, they had also cracked open a Babau. And the Babau here, for as ferocious as it looks, like hands covered in blood, blood. You know, and it's got it's kind of like a Tim Burton curl at the top of its head and everything. I mean, it looks like something straight out of an edgy 90s comic book. This is actually their like super happy fan. Not like a Make-A-Wish Foundation sort of thing, but, you know, this band really speaks to me. You know, I'm half demon and half devil, and they're made of demons and devils themselves, and I struggle with inner demons, and this is just a really positive place to be. And so you have a very happy fan that shows up everywhere. Now, I did see, Shukan, you said the Flesh Golem. They did open a Flesh Golem, but the Flesh Golem is the creepy fan. This is the fan that can cause problems. All the staff know him. And yeah, he technically buys the tickets and the backstage stuff, but he's a super collector. And if it doesn't show, he has even collected parts of the band. Now, whether kind of ripping them off or, you know, he's like, oh, I'm going to catch your sweaty handkerchief and I'm going to clone your cells onto my body because I love you guys so much. He's like the creepy super fan who causes problems. And, yeah. In fact, so he keeps like memorabilia and stuff, here. I've never done that, says O'Sheeps. And I think that was those were the major NPCs there. Yeah, Shukan, exactly. Use your saliva to make a clone of you, just so I can stare at you all day. You... you smell different when you're awake. That creature looks like it will try to wrap someone and squeeze them until they die. Hey, Donnie, welcome. Stop reading my diary, says O'Sheeps. Donnie, as a heads up, I know that you like to support the channel by getting capsules. Shukan has blown up the capsules. They're all spoken for, just as a heads up to you. So I have some boxes if you wanted, but just to let you know, because I should just put a note or something down here. These are all technically taken care of. Close the lid. But they're so pretty. They're so pretty, Baloo. All right, so of the cast here, which two would you all like to see made into NPCs on this workshop? Put the cat in the... I bet I could get him or her in there. So Rhino, you want the Armanite? You want the Roadie? Baloo, you like the manager? Rhino wants the Armanite as well. The Maw Demon's married to Paw Demon. Sorry, scrolling up to see that. The drummer, the Glabrezu. Roadies are the heart and soul of every good band. The manager, Minnie? Sure, the manager is Olanthius. Shukan saying the Maw Demon and the Glabrezu. So I've seen a couple for Glabrezu. And I've seen a couple for the Armanite. Bigfoot Hulk Hogan, says Blue's Clues. Well, we could, but I want to play to the audience, right? Donnie, we're going through an NPC making workshop off of the prompts that we were given by Pete and Jeremy over at D&D Time. Yes, Custos. Yep. All right. Well, I heard the heart and soul of a band is a good roadie. So we're going to do the Armanite. And then I saw a couple people say the Glabrezu, who's their drummer. And so we will proceed. Oh, by the way, this was the setting that we made. I opened up the wrong document, but hey, here's this is the workshop that we did yesterday. After the polls. There we go. All right, so let's start. Yes, Shukan, you did. This is actually several pieces. Narzagon, ride. So there's the horse. The bottom piece with the saddle is its own thing. Then the Narzagon top can be placed on legs. So there's a seam here. So you can have Narzagon alone, you can have Narzagon on the Nightmare, or you could just have the Nightmare. Alright, so let's check out their Roadie, an Armanite. Armanites are on 131 of Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes. And by the way, O'Sheeps, you're getting a 2-for-1 because here's the Bulazau. Oh, I saw someone mention Piers Anthony. Yeah, Piers Anthony is a prolific fantasy writer and sci-fi too. All right, so an Armanite here. Let's see. Armanite. Great herds of Armanites race across the blasted fields of the abyss, bent on slaughter and death, driven by unrestrained bloodlust. Whether being controlled by more powerful demons or charging into battle for the sake of it, Armanites use their claws, hooves, and long, whip-like tails to tear apart their foes. They live for war. In the armies of the demon lords, Armanites perform the role of heavy cavalry, leading the charge and tearing into their enemies' flanks. Armanites fight all the time, even among themselves, if they can't find another enemy. They make ideal shock troops, courageous to the point of stupidity and utterly I almost bit my tongue. And utterly savage. Walking arsenal. Part of what makes Armanites so fearsome is the number of weapons they have at their disposal. They possess sharp hooves, claws that end in curling talons, and long serrated tails that can flens the flesh from a victim, and they use them all to carve through their foes. When they are up against tough formations, they can call on their innate magic to loose bolts of lightning and blow holes in the enemy ranks. One Armanite is a CR7, so that is a decent challenge for 4 level 7 characters. All right, so definitely we were correct with that kind of that grizzled roadie. I've traveled everywhere. I've probably fought someone everywhere I've gone. I know the good food and the food that'll fight back once it's in you. And so this Armanite is definitely he's in a place of advisory. Legends, hey, welcome. A mature stream? In a Matty Morg stream at that? Oh my. In fact, oh my. Hi, or if not Legends, then Avantris, or Avantris if you'd prefer. But welcome, welcome. Alright, so we made our 2 Maragon. So our next one is going to be our Armanite. And we're going to do, we're going to create this NPC without the occupation and history first. We're going to go through the steps that are just going to get us to know the personality. You know, who, in this case, we could even go with a who is this person. As he's traveled, as, you know, has been around the Abyss and the 9 Hells. We have a roadie for the band The Inner Demons, based on the figures that were popped open in some boxes of Descent into Avernus. Let's consult the Dungeon Master's Guide and come back here. Legends of Avantris, would you do us the honors of typing exclamation point 1D20? Stops on a 7. Alright, so this Armanite is missing teeth. Now, these are prompts to get us to think, why is he missing teeth? Well, as we read, Armanites tend to be brawlers. Could very well have been from a lot of tavern brawls, places where the band has gone to perform. And while he doesn't work security, roadies tend to be tough folk. and might even prevent things that don't even make it to security. Yeah, bar fights, plenty of bar fights. Yeah, so we have this old grizzled Armanite, probably a little gray around the, well, not the muzzle per se. Missing some teeth, probably from getting into rows, from working the band and the stage. All right, his abilities. Yes, there is a stat block here. Strength is 21, Dex is 18, Con is 21. But you know what? This isn't just an Armanite. This is our Armanite. And especially if we're saying that he's kind of like a grizzled old Armanite. Again, someone who's different. Because the band Inner Demons wants different people. They want different demons, different devils. As a part of their message. And I would like... in the adventure we're creating in conjunction with D&D time, yes, of course, there are Legends of Avernus. Shukan, would you type ! 4D6, please? Yeah, so Avernus, the boys over at D&D time, Pete and Jeremy, each opened 2 boxes of minis. And from all the minis they opened, we were crafting an overarching, like, a concept for an adventure that would involve them. And someone in chat said, oh, you know what? The Glabrezu would make an awesome drummer. And from there, everything just turned into, we're making a band. And that's what the adventure is. So everything we're looking at is going to be given, like, a metal band treatment. 2 2s is fine. So our high stat is 5. Our low stat is 2. And then our ideal is going to be 4 and 2 when we get to that point. All right, so their Roadie, who is this Armanite, has a high wisdom and a low dexterity as their highest and their lowest scores. What are the scores? I don't know. The highest could be 25 and the lowest is an 18. It could be just, you know, a 20 and a 4. But I think this really does show a good job. You know, you want a wise Roadie. You want someone who's been around, has gut instincts, can sense danger, especially telling if someone's BSing to try and get through the gate. Maybe, Shukan. I just realized it says Rhino Hide. I'm on a slight delay from everyone else. Oh. Does refreshing the stream help you, Rhino? A 24 and a 3, Feast and Famine for the stats, yeah. Hypnotic says, hey, Matt, I got a question for you. As a DM, do you mind if an NPC actually does not follow the DM guide to create a character? Yeah, Hypnotic. I don't create characters like this using the DMG because you have to. I do it as a standardized methodology that people can take inspiration from, but they absolutely don't have to follow. If there's someone, you know, if there's someone in your family, like, I don't know, you have an annoying sibling. Make that annoying sibling whatever you want in your game. Right? You know, is there an actor that you really like, or whether it's the actor or the role that he or she plays? Use that. What you see on the screen here is simply a method that you could go through to try and create prompts. If perhaps you're stuck, or if you don't feel confident in just outright creating an NPC of your own. Hark says, wisdom on everything. You need to be a master roadie. Yeah, Hypnotic, if you're the DM, it's what you want to present. The methodology here, this is just a springboard into your own imagination. And of course, you know, he's older. He's probably, because he's been in fights, you know, his joints just, they aren't what they used to be. The old gray mare just ain't what it used to be. All right, now, what is a talent our Roadie Armanite has? Hypnotic Gamer, can you type ! 1D20? Stops on a 9. Great at impressions. So you just know this guy razzes the band members. He'll walk he's like, hey, guess who I am? Oh, I'm a drummer. I got 4 arms. He kind of like kneels up. He's walking on his 2 back horse legs. And he uses his 2 normal, like his 2 front legs and his other 2 to mimic the drummer. Oh, I'm a big important drummer for the blah, blah, blah. That's what you sound like, son. To the Glabrezu. What should you give access to a once per day legend lore? Any level you want, Shukan. You could give your players anything you want at any level. It's just, are you prepared for when they use it? Either to its fullest extent, which could be like every day they consult it, and so every day they're getting knowledge from that instead of exploring, or, you know, if you don't want them to figure it out, then they're going to get it through the artifact. Or, you know, do you want it to be, you know, at whatever rate? As long as you're prepared to handle whatever they do, just realize that your party, especially with legend lore, may very well use legend lore every day they can to discover more, which may not be bad. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but if you want to run things with maybe a sense of mystery, or you want them to discover it themselves, an artifact like that could spoil those opportunities. As knowledge about the world and the circumstances going on, that's really the biggest asset the DM has, that the players they're constantly trying to glean it and figure it out and put the pieces together. Ah, you're going to Avernus, Baloo. Rhino, would you please roll a 1d20 in chat, please? I want to run a game where classically advanced characters are level 1 and then a kobold is the world boss. You can run an entire campaign where no one gets past level, it's a super low level world. Eberron is the king of the biggest continent in Eberron is a level 5 fighter, and he, not only is he the king with wealth and resources, he fought in a war and survived. And he's level 5. Eberron is a very low level setting. Oh, yeah, Rhino, it's a 1d... Okay, you rolled an 8. Now, what is a mannerism that our Armanite Roadie has? Uses flowery speech or long words. Alright, so maybe he wants to try and sound sophisticated. You know, says he's going, oh, yeah, the next town over... I frequently masticate in that place, and the entrees are simply divine, I tell you. All right. I don't know the command to remove points. And oh my goodness, we're being raided by Obi Bob Kenobi 42. Welcome, everyone. Yes, all the power. Ha ha. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. Yeah, Rhino, exactly. Yeah, so the old grizzled roadie, you know, is like chewing on some jerky, something. He's trying to unpack the wagon for the next venue. And, you know, and someone comes up like, yeah, you know, what advice do you have for us about this place? And the old grizzled Armanite just turns around, you know, like spits on the ground. It's imperative that you diversify the melodious repertoire of your consortium of musicians. I love it. I love it, Rhino. All right, now his interaction with others. Obi Bob, can you please type exclamation point 1d12? And thank you for informing them below. It's just exclamation point 1D12. It lands on a 2. That's right. Teamwork makes the stream work. Oh, he is arrogant. Yes, of course. A non-arrogant roadie who's not going to try and show off to the rest of the band and you know, oh, the knowledge here. Oh, yeah, you got to go to this place and so forth. Yeah, definitely. You should have listened to me. It does, Shukan. Iwi. We are creating an NPC, and we're going through a methodology that uses random prompts. All right, let's see. Now, his ideal. What is our Armanite Roadie's ideal? Off of the initial roll that I think Shukan made, we have a leftover 4 and a 2. So he has a chaotic ideal of creativity. I'm telling you, everywhere I go, people are saying they need to hear a certain type of music. Your boys should be playing it. But no one listens to the Armanite. Ugh. What would I know? I've just traveled everywhere and survived this long. Now, his bond. What is something, a something, a someone, or a someplace that's important to him? And, Hark, would you please type exclamation point 1D10? Rolled a 2. A lot of low rolls tonight. Protective of close family members. So he's going to be like Bobby from Supernatural and call the band members a bunch of idiots. Because deep down inside, that gruff exterior, he really loves them like family. Because maybe his other Armanites, maybe they all died in combat. Or like none of them survived a raid in the abyss when the devil struck back. And so, you know what? The band is probably his family. And so he'll speak to him gruffly. He'll kind of patronize them, but he does it because he loves them. And so deep down inside, he may be a demon, but you know what? That demon inside, right? Haha, the demon, the demons inside is the name of the band. He actually has a soft spot, and that's what makes him interesting, and that's what helps him fit into the band. You know what they say? You want to know the world? You walk in the footsteps of Armanites. Exactly, Rhino. Shukan, it could be any of those choices. Just someone he considers family. That said, he probably has a soft spot for the Babao. Because it's like it's the mixed super fan. But of course, you know, he has to like, look, buddy, I gotta maintain standards, but I'll tell you what. I hear that we're going to be going to this location next, so if you want to get a ticket, you know, talk to them first. And now what is a flaw or a secret? Coldspark, can you please type exclamation point 1D12? The boxes. If you want a box of Ravnica, it's either $11 for a first dibs or $18 for a full pull. If you want Storm King's Thunder, it's $13 for a first dibs or $22 for a full pull. Coldspark rolls a 1. Oh, a flaw or a secret. We have a forbidden love or susceptibility to romance. He really is a softie, huh? No one would want this old Armanite, but that doesn't stop me from dreaming, don't it? Oh, a forbidden love to the Babao. That's fine, Rhino. Absolutely. Yeah, so maybe the Armanite maybe the Armanite has a serious soft spot for this poor Babao. Um that it could be developing, look again. I'm telling you this cuz I like you, all right? And he goes on and so maybe he always pulls back, cuz he might be afraid of that commitment. He's arrogant. I got a reputation. These boys can't travel anywhere without me. I can't get tied down by love. Meanwhile, his heart goes doki doki every time he sees the Babao show up at the show. Doki doki doki. So, if we go to occupation and history, we pretty well have that set up as we're going into this NPC, not with that retroactive, well, who were they in life before they were sort of, encapsulated inside Amerigon. We know that this demon exists and is a roadie and is all of this. So I don't know necessarily that we need to roll that, because we understand fully who or what. I mean, we're talking fiends. Fiends could be he's or she's or it's or we's or they's. So I don't think we really need to roll a lot of random stuff. If you wanted to roll something like how old is the character, or if you wanted to roll a background, or if not a background, because we kind of know that maybe an entertainer background would be something, or an outlander would be good too. Soldier. There's a lot of things that this person could be, given what Armanites are broadly, and then who this one is specifically. You could also roll. You can add, by the way. This is a secret. Pardon. I mean, it says in the monster manual, you can add character levels to monsters.
What's in the box?
I will. All right. When we finish with our next NPC, Baloo, I will pop open that box of Ravnica for you. All right. It is now time to check out the Glabrezu. Oh, there's a Garistro. Black Wolf popped one of those last night. All right. I forgot. They kind of load up the info beforehand, and then they give you the stat blocks. There we go. Glabrezu. A Glabrezu takes great pleasure in destroying mortals through temptation, and these creatures are among the few demons to offer their service to creatures foolish enough to summon them. Although Glabrezus are devastating in combat, they prefer to tempt victims into ruin, using power or wealth as lure. Engaging in guile, trickery, and evil bargains, a Glabrezu hoards riches that it uses to fulfill promises to short-sighted summoners and weak-willed mortals. However, if its attempts to entice or deceive fail, a Glabrezu has the strength to fight and win. So Glabrezu broadly, again, this might not necessarily apply to our specific one. They are tempters. So yeah, they're big and tough, but they really do try to prefer going for the corruption of morals. Ask me something? What's to ask? Okay, Donnie. All right, I'll check my DMs in Discord. Can re-roll with a wish. I'm gonna say no, because again, the wishes are more for role playing. The fact that I'm like, well, if you get more than one wish, you could maybe use one of them to turn it into an advantage. But the wishes they're more for just role-playing fun, because other people who draw cards that get them trapped in a dungeon or something, and it says you can only escape with a wish, it's a good roleplay prompt to get each other, to help each other out. Now, a Glabrezu is a CR9. Ooh, big beefy boy here. So, name is Glabrezu. On D&D time, there's a notorious one named Lil Glabby. Lil space Glabby. Lil Glabby. In a roleplay sense, because people pull talons that destroys their gear and whatnot. But again, it's more of a roleplay prompt, Custos. Now we know that this character is a drummer. But the drummer, it could be a career. But is it? All right. Oh, hey. My goodness, thank you very much. Welcome. Din not dinner. Din not dinner. Thank you very much for the raid. Welcome, welcome. You return. Hey raiders, and welcome. So it might be fun if we go through if we go through the process of maybe there's something else. Maybe he did other things. What was his first job before he ended up being a drummer with the Inner Demons? I brought someone with me who made her own supplement and pen and paper games. Oh, goodness. Well, it is nice to meet you. Would you like to introduce this person, Din? They're so greedy and hoardy. Our cleric once crossed a battlefield to rummage through our barbarian's backpack and feed him his own health potion, says Rhino Hide. Shukan, there is another cat down here that I'd love to have him come up on camera. Rachie, come on, bud. Come on, bud. There we go. Now we have some proper cat butt. All right, so let's take a look. We're going to open up our character randomizer here. And we're going to withdraw from it a couple prompts. Race may not really matter. Demons aren't necessarily born from mortals. They are, but they're not. But they are, but they're not. But more importantly, while we're creating this as an NPC, the drummer to our band, the Inner Demons. Oh, I think one of the Kickstarters she did was a cosmic horror one. Well, so who is the guest here, Din? If I missed it, I'm sorry, because chat is whoop, no, you're typing, no, cat. He's laying on a thin strip of desk that I have available here, and yeah, he was on the keyboard a little bit. All right, is that pronounced Ace Gaiac? Or Osegiac? Osegiac? But yes, so Osegiac, if you are out there... Oh, Asa Jack. All right. So, Din, not dinner. If I mess that up, please let me know. So, Ace a Jack. Welcome if you're here, and I mean, for all of you who are creative types, if you do Kickstarters or art or whatnot, you are always welcome in our community to promote yourself. Yeah, Baloo. I can open it later then. I will set it aside for you here. So, Baloo, Are you laying on my marker, buddy? What's going on here? He might be laying on my marker. Ah, there it is. Baloo, I'm gonna hold this off to the side for you, and when you come by, I'll make sure that this is the box that gets opened. Asa Jack, hey, welcome. Welcome, welcome. Oh, Baloo's with an S? All right, I'll have to add that after the fact to because I want to make sure I keep things going so we can get up to our break point. Yeah, you're very welcome. And yes, Ace, Din was talking you up here. We are primarily a D&D, primarily D&D, but open to many roleplay workshop. We discuss role-playing techniques. It's all sort of approachable D&D 101 kind of Bob Ross style implementation of grand ideas that make it really approachable and friendly to experienced and newbie role players alike. Pardon me. Asa Jack, thank you very much for the follow. Bye, Baloo. We'll crack open that box to get things going tomorrow, I guess. All right, so what is our background? You know, maybe something that he did before he became a drummer. His first job, a hobby, something like that. I'm going to generate an 18-sided die. Oh, Shukan, thank you very much for gifting that. Oh, she also has a beautiful parrot. Well, if that is that a conure? Rolling an 18-sided die. Oh, a rainbow lorikeet. Okay. Well, thank you for clarifying. I'm like, I don't think that's a sun conure. No, but thank you. From at least the drawing, it is certainly a beautiful bird. We rolled an 18. So our poor Glabrezu here grew up as an urchin, as an outcast among other demons. You know, didn't really have demon parents or mentors, so to speak. And you know what? If he was a drummer, he was probably busking on the corners of the abyss. You know, you got to start somewhere. You get that 5-gallon plastic bucket from Home Depot, and you bang on it, and you do a good job. People notice you. And so our Glabrezu grew up just sort of in these tough times. Didn't really have a lot of other people. And you know what? Again, this is his story about how he became involved with the band The Inner Demons. So Asa Jack, if you have anything going, oh, you've made some 5e supplements, but haven't done much D&D recently because you've been so involved in the indie RPG scene. Well, you are welcome here as a creator, as a fellow DM/GM, or as a player. And if you have a project going that you'd like to step up and get an amplification, this is a great community to do so. You're welcome to talk about it in our Discord. And of course, if you're here during the show, you can talk about it as well. I love promoting people, right? Success is not a zero-sum game. There you go, Refry. You got the idea of busking on the corner as a drummer. And if we wanted to roll anything else, you know, like, For example, you know, what was his class be? You know, would he actually have some class levels growing up in this environment, or would he just be like a normal Glabrezu in some way? And I'll tell you, the fact that he hoards his money is probably a result from his lifestyle. You know, Ace, I think that it is, but I'll tell you what, because I would be intrinsically biased. If any of you out there can give Ace an opinion about who we are and what we do, your experiences here with the channel, whether you've been here for a long time or a short time, you are welcome to do so. And so, you know, just as we didn't do this for our Armanite, let's give him a background and even a class. So we're going to open up our classes and roll a d12. 3, a cleric. Ah, so he has a faith in some form or fashion. Now I'm going to roll a d8. 2. A knowledge cleric. Ah, so he's been doing a little bit of mind-expanding reading on the side. Our drummer in our fiendish band is probably into that new age. You know, kind of that new age. You got to expand your mind. You know, the beats are the rhythm of the plains. And so we will give our Glabrezu Urchin Knowledge Cleric. All right, everyone, let's go back to our Dungeon Master's Guide. And as we have some folks here, Din, could you please type exclamation point 1d20? And Ace, would you kindly type exclamation point 4d6? All right, so Din has produced an interesting appearance to our Glabrezu. Number 6 is a pronounced scar. So how did our Glabrezu get a scar? Was it because he was grown up on the streets and he got into a scuffle? Is it something where he just got so into drumming that a drumstick broke and scarred him? Is this because of a, an escapade after a show with a fan? Was he actually summoned, because he probably has a couple contracts out there as a side gig. Was he summoned by his fiendish warlock, over which he's a patron, and something happened on an adventure? And so when the tour needed to start back up, he's like, I got a scar. And everyone's like, that's fine. It makes you look more drummery. Edgelord time, says Din. All right, and Ace has produced 1, 5, 1, and 5. So I'm going to drop these here as we're going to discover his high ability, his low ability, and then his ideal is 1, 5. And we'll get to that in just a second. So while we have a Glabrezu, he has a... It could be self-inflicted to look cool. Yeah, exactly, Din. He is definitely a strong boy. He probably works out. Banging the drums can be very physically exhausting as well. Definitely works his arms. At least his big crab claw ones. But, I'll tell you, the secondary set, for their size, they're pretty impressive. You cannot ignore the girth of his arms. So his high stat is strength. His low stat is 5, which is wisdom. And you know what? This is going to work out because he probably listens to that old Roadie Armanite that we just rolled up. While he lived on the streets, he's been, he hasn't exactly been, he wasn't attentive. Maybe he was more self-involved growing up, worrying more about himself. And so he just might not have some good judgment. or he's gone down this path of this new age religion by becoming a knowledge cleric in addition to being a drummer here. And that is, you know, it might be expanding his mind, but he's starting from a place of maximum reception because his score is going to be lower. And whatever the score is. All right, now what's a talent besides drumming that our Glabrezu has? Shukan, would you please type exclamation point 1D20? $18. A skilled actor and a master of disguise. The scar could even be fake. You know, he applies it or something. So, wow, so yeah, we really, our drummer does drum for the band, but he is face paint like Kiss. There you go. Reset itself. Oh, well, welcome back, Custos. So he has a lot of side gigs going, and you know what? Again, if he's a hoarder, as per Glabrezu, he's doing all these extra jobs. Maybe because he finds drumming to be, you know, simple, he can do it well, but he's also trying to make money on the side. You know, if you don't think there's bands out there that do, you know, that they don't do other things other than play music, then, you might be fooling yourself, especially if the band is starting out or they haven't, you know, signed a big contract or anything yet where their music alone is making them money. Then, my support manager is a drummer and guitarist. Oh, are you in a band, Shukan? Ace says there's a guy here who busks by playing EDM, electronic dance music, on a contraption of plumbing pipes with a pair of flip-flops, and I'm absolutely picturing him as a demon now. So there you go, Ace. Yeah, we are picture him as a Glabrezu. Yep, most band people have day jobs. You are correct. And so our day job Glabrezu here does some acting on the side, and he is studying alternative faiths, and you know, some new age stuff. What? Maybe not literally a day job then. Custos, that's an excellent compliment. Thank you very much for sharing that. Yeah, all the cat butt, Hark. All right, next up. A mannerism. What's maybe a personal habit or a tick that he has, or whatever. Cold Spark, can you type exclamation point 1D20? $13. Fidgets. Always spinning in all four hands, spinning drumsticks. That's probably why he grew up as a busker. Why, you know, he's a drummer now, a master of disguise. Always has to do something. Yeah, exactly. Twirls the drumsticks. We have a very personable demon here, everyone. Are you able? I mean, Ace is able to start identifying with our drummer, and hopefully you all can think of something too. Now, how does our drummer interact with others? Ace, would you like to roll a D12, please? Exclamation point 1D12. Time for bit. All right, so Din, before you go, leave your legacy on this character. Din, I would like you to roll a D10, please. And Ace, it's just exclamation point 1D12. All right, Ace rolls a 3. Blustering. He can't speak too well. Maybe that's why he's trying, as a skilled actor, maybe he just has so many ideas. Or when he acts, he's in the zone and he doesn't have a stutter or a speech impediment. When he's there and he's presenting, he's in the zone, his mind is clear. Outside of that, if he's not performing, maybe that's what led him into this New Age knowledge cleric domain. He has some trouble speaking. And so he speaks through his drums. He speaks through his hands, all 4 of them. Well, technically 2 and 2 claws. He speaks through many other ways because his confidence could be shaken by the fact that he normally is blustering if he's not concentrating on something that he's doing. Which also goes back into the whole fidget aspect. Yeah, Custos. Yeah, it's something along those lines. Hey, Lost Streaming, welcome. Welcome aboard, Lost Streaming Company. And Din, by the way, rolled a 2. So Din, if you took off, that's fine. There's your legacy. Is going to be the bond this character has. Now, the 1 and the 5 that I believe Ace rolled from that 46, his ideal is that he has a good ideal. So that's number 1. And then in that 5, respect. Like, just, we all gotta get along, man. Just as the book of knowledge says, man, we just gotta get along. Yeah, I've been well Lost streaming. Thank you very much. We're having a very awesome night. Whoa, the Salty Dragon Tavern is here too. Oh, so many content creators and streamers. My goodness. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, welcome. Why can't we be friends? Yeah, exactly. Why can't we be friends? That's... exactly, Shukan. Yeah, Ace, a demon singing Imagine by John Lennon. Salty Dragon says, oh man, the amount of times I have to stop myself from breaking into song. Yes, he's up there. He's just kind of like, doing a little rhythm jam, going up there. He's got his, he's clapping his little hands as he's pinching the drumsticks in his big Glabrezu claws. He's getting into the moon. And I think to myself, what a wonderful material plane. Oh, yeah. I have a new bard I want to play one day. I can actually sing reasonably well at a tenor level. Oh, goodness. Then, hopefully, one time when we raid you, Salty Dragon, we'll get to see you break out into song. And I think to myself, what a wonderful plane. It's a karaoke stream now, yeah. All right, now Din rolled this person's bond. And so a bond is it keeps you anchored to the world. It's a person, place, thing. And our Glabrezu here is bonded to number 2, protective of close family members. And you know what? This has shown up before, and I think it really speaks to the fact that our band is close. And these are all demons and devils that realize they're flawed. That's why they call themselves the inner demons. They realize they're flawed, and look, he's an urchin. He probably didn't have demon family. Or the demon family, might have been for demons somehow abusive or neglectful. Protective of close family members. And so he really looks out for the band. In fact, that's probably why he overworks himself doing these extra side jobs and drums and is, you know, into new age stuff to detoxify and to really, because he wants to be around. This band took him in. This band gave him this job, this income, this respect, which is probably more valuable than anything else. And he, with both his claws and both his hands, this Glabrezu will absolutely fight for them for success and the happiness of others. But lastly, because look, we are all flawed creatures, you and me, and even that cat over there. And if you don't think you have a flaw, that's your flaw. Custos Lupus, would you please roll a d12? Shukan is begging Custos not to kill Mama Loth. Custos comes up with a 2. Ah! He enjoys decadent pleasures. Now, how does this go into... Oh my. Some carnal pleasures? Are decadent pleasures certain dietary things? Like, you know, I'll only eat Wagyu beef. Or is he a bit of a prima donna where, you know, he's like, I will only have green M&Ms and a brandy snifter if you want us to play. I don't know. That seems a very, you know, a bit of a tightwad for our kind of loosey-goosey Glabrezu here. So, decadent pleasures. What would be a decadent pleasure? So Ace, yeah, so he wants to expand his mind, and so he, you know, he has some of the devil's cabbage, and so Ace, there you go. For as a demon, even as a spirituality and music, and he goes to expand his mind, and so our drummer does take some psychotropic imbibements. You know, he's there injecting the marijuanas right into his bloodstream, I tells you. Yeah, exactly, Cold Spark. He spends a few too many hours in gold at the library. He could be getting high on life. Exactly, Shukan. You know, he reads about things in books. He's expanding his mind, and he goes out and he tries it. Hey, X-Cat, welcome. Yay, mommy lives, says Shukan. Loth lives, and so we have Custos is being drugged down a corridor, probably to be turned into a drider. Excellent. Oh, I love this. I absolutely love this. Yeah, Ace, it was to see if they actually did understand their contract. Oh, what a wonderful NPC creation session. And now we have, right, what have we done? We have made a humanized, relatable Armanite. And now this doesn't mean that any of them are good people. I do want to get that across. They could still be very, you know, evil and dark in their own ways. We're talking, this is how it translates in their culture. But we have an old Roadie Armanite. We have a drummer Glabrezu. And demons and devils. I need devils. Those are demon lords. Darrow. And we made, there we go, 2 Maragons. 2 Maragons were made as bouncers. And so after reading the Maragons, we ended up going back and saying, all right, so we see the Maragon as the end result. So who is the person that died and had their souls sent to hell for the band members to find them and say, you know what? For souls down here, they're pretty twisted or broken up enough. We're going to adopt them. Shove them into a Maragon. They're working security for us. And we actually made now the backstories. So our first Maragon is an old female hill dwarf who is a burglar. And she was just caught up because, you know, she loved to steal. And also to pursue someone that she really liked. Though she felt guilty about it and caused herself pain. And even pain on others because she liked it and other people must like it too. And so she ended up dying and her soul went to the hells and she was chosen to be a Maragon for the inner demons. And the second Maragon was a male rock gnome thief, also a blackmailer. All of this was randomly rolled, by the way. And we went into his life. Who was he and how did he end up in hell to be turned into a Maragon? And it's all here. The story, it writes itself. So for those of you who are new here, Iwi, I-W-I, it writes itself. And what we do, we throw out these random prompts from cracking open random boxes of minis. And we are creating something really cool. Why are you killing my kobolds? Shouts Shukan.